What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. In this video, I'll be taking you through my transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 12, or at least my early thoughts on it. Now, I say early thoughts as you guys know international break is finally upon us yet again. Just seems like so many international breaks at the start of this Premier League season, but it could be a break to kind of reduce the batteries. So I'll give you guys a quick review to start off with about how Game Week 11 went, another pretty healthy green arrow. Then I'll turn the attention to the upcoming early thoughts on the transfer plan as well as my current team selection. So if that's something you guys are interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So Game Week 11 has just concluded. We had some massive matchups. Saturday was absolutely sensational. Sunday, however, was simply terrible. I was super hyped for those Sunday fixtures, but unfortunately, they didn't really deliver. So United, Spurs, as well as that Chelsea-Arsenal game fell really flat, and I was expecting a boatload of points, but got hardly any. At least Saturday was enough to secure a nice little green arrow to about the 240k mark, and we scored an overall 70 points for Game Week 11. So let me know how Game Week 11 went. Was it a great week, a bad week, a terrible week? I've seen some massive scores, but also some pretty low scores over on FPL Twitter. Now for the upcoming Game Week 12, unfortunately only the one free transfer and 0.8 left in the bank, after we went for a punt in Game Week 11. So the rank just gets better and better at the moment. As mentioned, another healthy green arrow to the 240k mark. Let's see if we can build onto this for the future game weeks. Now I'm going to start off on the bench, and this week we actually had a massive bench in dilemma in terms of our goalkeepers, as we owned Flecken with that Bournemouth game. So I'm just going to bring up Fabianski now because there was kind of a choice between these two options, but Fabianski had the better fixture. We went over this in our deadline stream, but Everton, that was a great game for West Ham, and the clean sheet odds were higher for West Ham than they were for Brentford. So I went for the right choice. As you guys can see, a massive 9-pointer after racking up an extra bonus point after the game ended. So that took him to a total of 2. So it's great when these kind of rotations do pay off. An 8-point difference between the two goalkeepers, and I think it was the high scoring goalkeeper in Game Week 11. So I was pretty happy with this choice, as well as the rest of our bench. Gabriel got the 2-pointer, was on for a 9-pointer though when Arsenal still had the clean sheet. Unfortunately, it wasn't Cole Palmer who scored the Chelsea goal, it was a lovely strike from Neto. I tried to play the odds, but unfortunately didn't get the Chelsea attacking return. Then Greaves and Chiromi both didn't feature. Greaves currently injured, hopefully he's back in the short term, as I might need some bench coverage to be honest. So with Fabianski between the sticks, it looks like it was going to be a great game week. The defensive department redeemed itself slightly. Aït-Nouri racking up a clean sheet. Might have been a little bit unlucky there, as the goal Wolves conceded got ruled out. So no attacking returns against Southampton. I thought there might be a few, but honestly I'll probably take the 6-pointer, as Wolves don't keep many clean sheets. Now speaking about not many clean sheets, unfortunately Man City at the moment aren't keeping many, but Brighton was going to be a tough game. So Guardiola started this one as well as Rico Lewis, but I sold Rico Lewis. He racked up yellow card for a 0-pointer. Now Guardiola, unfortunately no attacking returns like we've become a little bit accustomed to, and without those, Man City can't really buy a clean sheet at the moment. So I'm going to bring up the player I replaced Rico Lewis for, and that was going to be Diogo Dalot. As you guys can see, 1-pointer after being subbed before the 60th minute. Now this is obviously going to be a failed transfer. I brought him in for Rico Lewis. The logic behind taking out Rico Lewis instead of Guardiola was the fact that Aït-Nouri with his yellow card, he might be suspended soon. And because Rico Lewis might be a rotation risk, I went for the security in Guardiola. So just wanted to kind of disclose my logic there in terms of my defense. But bringing in Diogo Dalot was a mistake, but probably an unlucky one. I mean, if he played 3 extra minutes, he would have had 6 points. I don't think we would have been complaining that much with the clean sheet. But because he was subbed early, which I considered to be unlucky, obviously the outcome looks terrible. Now the reason I wanted to go for him was as a punt with these next 3 fixtures. I thought the United transfer clean sheet was higher than Man City's. That's exactly what happened. United kept a clean sheet. Diogo Dalot also kept one, but just for 57 minutes. So that's what the logic was there, but the outcome obviously wasn't. I'm slightly worried though for the future, but what you guys have to remember is the new manager's coming in, and therefore who knows what he's going to play with this formation. Now I won't lie, I did watch this United game. He was getting absolutely cooked by the Leicester left winger, and probably the reason that he was subbed so early. So I know United fans have been complaining about his form, it hasn't been great, but maybe the new manager can change things around, and in a back 5 he doesn't have to be as defensive. So I guess there might be hope. I just wish he played 3 extra minutes, as that would have taken me to about the 170k mark. So yes, failed transfer, but let's have hope for the future. He was more of a 3-week punt anyways. So unfortunately with the clean sheet, the back 3 would have looked a lot better, but it's 2 blanks from our more expensive defenders. Now the saviour of the game week was going to come in the midfield department, our captain Mo Salah with the 14-pointer, racking up a goal, assist and 3 bonus points. Now if you guys watched my deadline stream, I was contemplating going for Dom Solanke over Mo Salah. Luckily I came to my senses with a few minutes left. So watching this game as a Liverpool fan, as a Salah captainer, that last goal he scored, I celebrated probably a bit too much, but Liverpool and Salah overall are just in great form. So luckily went for the right Campsey option, as this could have been a disaster. Hashtag Team Salah is beating Team Haaland. Then our next 2 premiums, Palmer as well as Saka, both played each other, both ended on 2 points after pretty disappointing performances, and I'm pretty sure both of them have just pulled out of the England camp. So an international break rest for both of these 2 players, just gonna have to translate if they're back for game week 12 though, as that's my kind of biggest concern at the moment. So Palmer I think lasted the full game, however Saka got subbed around the 80-minute mark, and that definitely looked like an injury. So once again another international break, trying to translate Arteta's press conferences. Let's see if we get some early training news before game week 12 though. Now this game did have goals in it. I was kind of expecting maybe both sides to score a 1-1. Might be unfortunate when no attacking returns from either of these assets. This does make it even harder when the fact that Bruno Fernandes is playing Leicester and scoring 17 points. Might have been better to go for him on a wildcard than these other 2 assets. Then the ever consistent Mbumo got an assist in 3 Brentford goals. Not so good when you look at it from an overall point of view. So as the main talisman for Brentford, was hoping for a bit more from him, but I guess it is another attacking return. We have spoken about the heroes of the game week, or definitely the villains or the protagonists of our story for game week 11 was going to be that Spurs squad. So how do you come off having such good results and then losing to Ipswich even at home? Kulusevski blanked in this fixture. So I don't really know what to say about these Spurs assets. I mean, I was even considering captaining one. That shows how deep I was in this. Just such a Spursy thing to do, losing to Ipswich. So with Kulusevski, our hopes and dreams were so high on him, so coming back down to earth is going to be pretty hard. So definitely a transfer out potentially, but with Man City up next, maybe they return to their Robin Hood like. Imagine beating Man City after losing to Ipswich. But still very disappointed, was hoping for quite a big return here, but this wasn't meant to be. A big return did come from our Wolves striker Cunha. He managed a goal plus an assist for a massive 12-pointer. So that Southampton game was always one to target, and I'm very happy that I went from a few game weeks ago. Just seems like an absolute baller. Just go check his goal that he scored. So I guess the thing that's making this Haaland transfer so much sweeter is the replacement Cunha is performing so well. Who would have thought a cheaper price tag with just great fixtures? So no complaints here. Wolves also have some great games coming up. They dip off in the short term slightly though, but willing to hold him over this little rough patch. A player that I might not hold for the tougher fixtures is going to be Dom Solanke though. Like Kulusevski, I had massive dreams. Was even considering captaining him. So my vice captain for game week 11 blanked, at least my captain returned with Mo Salah, but unfortunately Solanke might be on the chopping block for a transfer out. Just can't really say any more about Spurs. They're such a weird club, and I think you fans can probably understand me saying that. But still, even with the kind of fails of Spurs and the lot transfer, a nice little green arrow to the 240k mark. Let me know how your game week went. Was it a good week, a bad week, a terrible week? How many points did you score? And how's that overall rank looking? Now before we go over my transfer plan for game week 12, as I definitely will be using a move, let's go over my current team selection and see how the team is looking. Now the bench this week, unfortunately there might be a little bit of a decision to make in terms of our defense, currently benching Guardiola against Spurs. Now the only reason for this is I currently have 2 Spurs attackers in my lineup, so kind of hoping they score, but pretty sure I'll be 1 or 2 down come that game week 12 deadline. So let's go over our goalkeeper first before we go over our defense. I've got Flecken against Everton between the sticks. So back-to-back Everton games, can we make it back-to-back clean sheets? I can definitely see a probability there. Brentford have to just stop conceding goals. Easier said than done though, one of the worst defenses this season, but I have faith in Flecken for game week 12. Now back 3 currently is going to be Aït-Nouri, Gabriel as well as Dalot, but you guys can let me know if I should sub any of these for Guardiola. Realistically, this might be kind of the lot's funeral unfortunately after that Game Week 11 performance, but with the new manager I still have hope for a kind of a wingback slot. So I'll probably just play him and hope that he does feature. Let's see what happens in the international break. But pretty happy to have Gabriel back in the team, hopefully keeps a clean sheet against Chris Wood. Nothing will make me happier than another Chris Wood blank. He has been scoring too many goals, and in terms of Aït-Nouri, I expect him to concede, but he always has some attacking threat. With the lot, do have some hope for a clean sheet as well if he does feature, and if he is rumoured to play as a wing back, might even have more increased attacking threat. That is the hope though, but I guess we will see what happens with the new manager. Let me know your thoughts on who to bench for Guardiola. Then our midfield department, it's the debate of the captaincy this week. Should I go for Salah or Cole Palmer, both with newly promoted squads? I'm going to back the more consistent Salah though. Liverpool at the moment just seem to be in a better moment. I guess Leicester might be the easier fixture, but hopefully not much separates these two and both of them do haul. Same could be said about Saka, hope that he does kind of come back from injury and does well, but that Nottingham Forest team has been quite good defensively. Mbeumo against Everton, also a great fixture there, and then finally Kulusevski against Man City, where it might be quite a Spursy thing to win this one. I think Kulusevski also loves to score against Man City, so he might be a hold, but more realistically, probably getting rid of one of these two assets. Up front, we've got Cunha against Fulham, a team that's also been defending well. Hopefully this has goals in it. And then Dom Solanke with the same fixture against Man City. So this week, it's who to transfer out, maybe both of our Spurs assets, but probably just one of them. What transfer would you guys make if this was your team? Let's just see what happens with Cole Palmer as well as Saka. Fingers crossed both of them return. Otherwise, I might have to take them out for someone like a Bruno Fernandes. The captaincy debate will also be quite red hot this game week. Currently on Salah. Also, let me know your thoughts on that one. So the transfer plan this week is definitely to use one free transfer. I might go for 2 free transfers. A popular move might be taking Dom Solanke as well as Kulusevski out. So what we could go for is Kulusevski out for someone like a Bruno Fernandes, funded by Dom Solanke to João Pedro, but that would be for a -4 hit. Bruno also only has 2 great games left, that's Ipswich and Everton. So is that worth taking a -4 hit just to take him out in 2 weeks' time? Don't exactly know, and that's why for me at the moment it seems like I'll be taking only one Spurs asset out. That could be Dom Solanke for someone like an Isaac, but I'm leaning towards Kulusevski out. Just feel like Dom Solanke might be slightly of a better FPL asset than Kulusevski is, but unfortunately not a lot in the bank to actually upgrade him. So for me at the moment, Kulusevski out is probably the popular move or the most realistic move, and my 2 replacements might be Rodgers or Semenyo. Now the best thing about these 2 replacements is both of them allow me to do Chiwomi up to João Pedro next week, and that gives me enough time to observe Brighton for one more game week and see if João Pedro is the real deal. Also just in time for Brighton's great game week 13 fixture, so both these 2 moves are pretty realistic. Now between Rodgers and Semenyo it's quite a close one, there is quite a slight price difference but not much in it, and because with both of them I can afford João Pedro, I'm not really looking at the price tag. Now the only thing with Semenyo that you guys have to watch out for is he's on 4 yellow cards, 1 off a suspension. So yes, it'll be quite bad if he does miss a great fixture because of that suspension. I guess that is the risk with him though. The reason I do prefer him at the moment to Rodgers is that he might be kind of better for expected minutes, and I do prefer the Bournemouth fixture slightly. Rodgers has been subbed around the 60-minute mark too much in the last few game weeks, but he might just be tied with all this Champions League football. Probably just another reason maybe to avoid the Aston Villa assets, whereas Bournemouth have no European football, and Semenyo might be slightly more of a talisman. So at the moment I'm leaning towards Semenyo, but Rodgers could also be pretty viable. You guys can let me know who you prefer in the comments down below. Now as mentioned, other transfers could be Dom Solanke to Isaac, Dom Solanke to Nicholas Jackson, or I could do both of them for Bruno Fernandes as well as João Pedro. Lots to kind of think about, absorb during the international break, so please pay attention to it. Fingers crossed all our players don't get injured or at least recover from injury. Let's see what happens over the upcoming days. Now I'll be dropping a wildcard draft shortly for those of you on the chip, and that should come out in a few days' time. This is basically wrap for you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you didn't subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Enjoy the international break, but have notifications on for my future videos. But for the time being, I'm signing off. It's me, Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.